it's like one of those things where there's like one of those parents out there that'd be like, I don't want my son missing out with his chance with that specific type of girl, when it's like, in my case, I have more, like, I don't know. I don't look at anyone else's profiles. I just look at my own, basically. I'll try to draw the attention to it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I, see, the issue is like how much the number of accomplishments one would have to compare with another, when it comes to, let's say, a dominant genetic trait. Where today the body mass index, if you get caught, if you end up in the hospital for some type of ailment and they check your weight, if you're considered underweight according to your height, if you intend to eventually possibly have offspring with someone, like children, that dominant genetic trait is important to know about when pairing up with that of the opposite sex, in order to, if you end up wanting to have children or offspring, because it's dietary. Staple ingredients are important based on, I believe, as far as, let's say, one's grandparents' immediate family's origins, in the staple ingredients that are in their cuisine. If you're, let's say, a vegan, and in my case, I'm allergic to BCM7, or the protein found in all dairy products. It's called casein, casomorphin. So I have to exclude, in my case, I exclude all animal proteins. I have been doing that for 18 years now. So in order for me to gain weight, I can't just depend on, let's say, the boxed meals at the grocery store, because not just based off affordability, but if I were to, let's say, want to pay rent somewhere, like have my own apartment, I I would still have to eat the homemade meals just like I do here, but that doesn't mean that I would weigh the same amount anymore if I were to, let's say, have to pay rent somewhere. Unless I, open up an orchard of miniature mandarin orange trees or something like that, and or buy stock in things that could be redistributed at medicinal cannabis dispensaries to combat or the effects or the adverse effects of, let's say, anxiety induced or hallucinogenic persisting perceptual disorder that develops from consuming cannabis products that would be dispensed at the cannabis dispensary. You see what I'm saying? Whereas I eat those foods that reduce that. It removes that symptom. It kind of reverses it. And I've been clear of it for like 17, 18 years now. You see what I'm saying? 18 years now since I've been a vegan. Whereas the BCM7 makes it more difficult to prevent relapse. If I were to consume dairy products, chances are I would, there could be a higher, I could be at a higher risk of consuming something that would it's less, I have less control over myself when I consume products with BCM7 or casein in it, whereas I have more self control when I had completely excluded it. So anyways, went a little off topic. Oh, yeah. So, like, it's a genetic thing, too. So you were. And then there's like a priority issue that may be happening in society in general. Whereas like it's just like at the sense of like this athleticism type parent, the parent that has the son or daughter that would have been like you know I wouldn't say daughter. Let's say it's a mother of a son who, let's say, is one of those parents that would be on the bleachers being like, I want my son to go to college or something like that, and then it's that type of like thing, that may be happening in general, it's like a stereotype. And there, okay, here. I'm thinking that maybe on the other end, someone's possibly trying to, be well. Wouldn't that make it fair if we placed the stereotype on top of him? Of his based off not just me, but in general of those who are tall and slender, but are not considered the right weight for their height. And create that type of stereotype for those 18 and older that don't match up with the body mass index standards, so that they created the stereotype model possibly to make it try to make it like fair or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly. That's just a theory, unless it's a legitimate mistake, or they're trying to find someone to be able to find a way, a faster method for someone like me, who was considered underweight for their height, for the first 15 years beyond the age of 18 until they were 32 years old and they learned how to gain the extra 40 pounds. You see what I'm saying?